Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Kirk Hardman podcast. Of course, my name is Kirk Hardman, but you already know that. This is episode 7, recorded. Episode 10? This will be episode 10 when you include the recorded and live. As you can see, the shirt says, "Just one before I die." I think we all know what we are talking about today. I think we all know what we're talking about today. The Toronto Maple Leafs. There's not too many games left to go in the season. And I honestly think that we need to have a very honest conversation about the future of the Toronto Maple Leafs and what really needs to be done. I think the first key thing that really needs to be done about this team is Craig Berube needs to go. There's obviously disconnect between the players and Craig Berube, and there's obviously a disconnect between the front office and management and Craig Berube. Craig Berube has his guys that he wants to play, and the front office is wants to see certain players, especially guys from the Murrays. Like tonight, I'm recording this before tonight's 10 minutes before tonight's game, 10 to 15 minutes. Bo Glue, I think that's how you say his name, is gets called from the Murrays. He's the leading scorer. He has 27 goals on the year. He has, I think, like 50. He has 50 points on the year in 54 games for the Murrays. And Leafs management is going, hey, maybe we could see what we have in this guy, bring him up for a few games. You want that as a team that's not going to make playoffs. You want to see what you have in these guys. Maybe they play in the NHL next year. It almost seems like Craig Berube wants, and I've noticed this, and a lot of people are really saying that Matthews' game, Austin Matthews, he used his game with the Leafs ever since Craig Berube came over, has stunted. Badly stunted. And I think there needs to be change in that. Do I expect the change to come during the rest of this year? No. No, because what's the point in that? You're not making the playoffs, why make the change? Wait till the off season. Wait till the off season. Go out there, find candidates for the job, because obviously there's candidates now for it, but with not so many games left in the season, what's truly the point of firing the coach? Especially when you're not making the playoffs. You're gonna hope for like this big miraculous run to come along? No. No, the Leafs aren't good enough for that. But here's the problem that I have. The Leafs don't like to fire coaches. They don't like to fire they don't like to fire anybody. Shanahan's contract wraps. The old Kyle Dubas' contract wraps. Sheldon Keefe's contract wraps. The last guy they fired was Babcock, but you need to fire him because it just seemed like he's kind of like Craig Berube, except all the off ice crap that Babcock did. Yeah, no, Babcock's never coaching the NHL again for that. But you fire Craig Berube. Craig Berube's going to get another job somewhere else, but it's just that he's not for this team and he's not for these Spurs. He's just not. and I feel like he can go to a team that is made for him, and this team is not. And that doesn't fully put the blame on Craig Berube. I mean, I'm probably gonna be looking right at you, Brad Treliving. Brad Treliving, you made this team. You made most of this team. You tried to replace Marner with a bunch of depth options, thinking that those depth options would be able to help you. And it just didn't. Not even close. I'm actually really surprised that you got a first round pick out of Nick Wall. I think everybody's surprised about that. But you trained Bobby McMahon on trade deadline day when everybody before the Olympic break was saying Bobby McMahon is worth a first round pick. He is worth a first round pick. You didn't do your homework. You didn't go around asking teams, hey, would you like Bobby McMahon? Is he worth a first round pick? He should have been a first round pick. But instead, you get a second and a fourth. And the second and the fourth aren't even for this year. They're for next year or the year after. I don't have the information right in front of me. And you also trade Scott Laughton, who you traded for a first and Nikita Kurbankin for a fourth liner. You would hope that that guy that you acquired for a first round pick, you would hope that he would be able to fetch you a first round pick back. Nope. The best he could do is a second, and even that might not even be second. It could be third. It could be third. It'll be a third. It's a conditional third round pick. Could be second this year if the LA Kings make the playoffs. The LA Kings sold. Yes, they acquired Timmy Panarin, but they traded away a couple of guys that were on the team. So they're not a playoff team this year. They're not. So you got a third round pick for Scott Laughton, who you trade a first and Nikita Kurbankin for. That's unacceptable. And your decor, the decor's the fucking same when it started out in the season, except for Chris Tanev. Tanev is up there in age, and who knows, he's one major injury away from not playing the NHL again. He's out for the rest of this year. Apparently he'll be ready for training camp, but after that, he's going to be like 38 years old, I believe, and one more major injury, and that's it for him. Your D core is the same. Your forward core is practically the same, except 3 guys. There are 2 expiring guys, and Nick Wall has a year after this year left. Colorado's going to take him and be like, oh, thank you very much for this. We're willing to pay the first round pick because, hell, Colorado's a playoff team for years and years down the road. I mean, it's top 10 protected. And for next year, that first round pick, Colorado's not missing the playoffs, so don't worry, we'll have a first round pick next year. Do we have one this year? Maybe. Maybe. It all depends on how well we finish in the lottery. Our pick is top 5 protected. But that also brings up the chance that if the pick's top 5 protected, we have to send that to our next year's pick to Boston. Oh no! We don't have our own first round pick next year because we traded that to Philly for Scott Rotten. And then if that happens, so like if it's top 5, we have to send next year's pick to Boston, but then if that pick is top 10, no, if our pick's top 10, then we have the choice of either sending next year's pick to Boston and then our 2028 first round pick to Philly to complete that trade, or the other way around. What the fuck is that? What draft pick management is that? Did you not think of that? Did you not? When you made that trade for Brandon Carlo, you traded away Fraser Minton in that first round pick, which is top 5 protector. Did you not think of, oh, we did that, we gotta keep our 2027 first round pick just in case? No, you instead trade for Scott Rotten, a third, fourth line player. You could have traded Matthias Maccelli. You could have traded Kelly Youngcook. Who? Kelly Youngcook, just fucking trade him and get, I don't know, 5th, 6th round pick off because fuck, he's useless on this team. He'll do well on another team. Some other team that's not going to make some team will get him for depth. They wouldn't care. Hell, look, fucking Nick Foligno went for future considerations. David Kampf, who was on Vancouver didn't need him anymore. He got traded away for a 7th round pick. It was a seller's market. But those teams did their homework. Those teams did all their stuff before the deadline. They were talking to teams before the deadline. Toronto wasn't talking to anybody before the deadline. Actually, I shouldn't say, they weren't talking to teams a month and a half, 2 months before the deadline. They weren't talking to anybody. That's what it almost seems like to me. And because of that, they got the diminishing return. A return that you should probably gotten more for. They were saying a month when the rumors started, before the Olympic break, they were saying Bobby McMann is worth a first round pick because of his size and his speed. Nope. He would have been worth the first round pick this year. This year, first round pick to a playoff team. Nope. You go for a 2nd round pick in a future year and a 4th round pick this year. Really? Now I know how I feel about. Now I know how Calgary Flames fans feel. I mean, look at the fucking team he built during his last few years. He was there. It wasn't good. They weren't good teams. Fuck, I think he was the one that made the Kachuk for Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar. Look at it. Look how well Huberdeau's done. He's been, well, I mean, he was pretty much placed on a shitty team. He was injured. He's been injured most of the time. Mackenzie Weegar, at least Calgary got a return for Mackenzie Weegar. They got a great return for him. But what did Matthew Tkachuk do for Florida? Only won back-to-back Stanley Cups. Luckily, he's not winning one this year. Yay! So far, as we all know, more than likely, Brad Treliving is not coming back. And Craig Berube, hopefully he's not coming back. one of them's not coming back. One of them probably is coming back because the Reeves don't like to fire their GMs. They don't like to fire anybody. When it comes to like the whole aspect of firing people, they're kind of no. People are probably gonna get pissed, or really just like, what do you mean by that? Um, think of it as like the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Pittsburgh didn't fire Mike Tomlin, right? They've never fired a head coach in their history. They've had 3 head coaches in their history. They've never fired a single one. They let them either retire or resign. Now I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Am I exactly happy that Mike McCarthy is going to be the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Hell no, because it's an offensive Mike Tomlin. How fun. But anyways, back to the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs, like in recent history, like I'm not talking like Randy Carlyle, Brian Burke, all those guys. I'm talking like this regime of Rogers. I'll get to you. I'll get to Rogers in a second. This Rogers regime, they just don't like firing people because they don't want to pay the big bucks for firing them. So when their contract ends, if they don't like them, bye, see ya. We're not resigning. We're not re-signing you. You can go. That's just how the regime works. They will never fire guys. They will let them leave. They just let them leave, just like the Pittsburgh Steelers do. They let their coaches leave. Rodgers doesn't really like firing people because they don't want to pay them. That's just how it is. And I'm gonna get to Rodgers now because Rodgers. This is the biggest problem that I have with Rodgers. They own a monopoly in Toronto. They own a giant monopoly in Toronto. They are either part of the ownership or own Toronto Blue Jays, Toronto Argonauts, Toronto FC, pretty much every Toronto team, every Toronto affiliated team, they have some kind of ownership stake or they fully own the team. They're meddling in a lot of business. And it seems like they have one big ticket item, which is right now actually the Toronto Blue Jays, which they fully own. And because they can only focus on that one thing, the rest of it just kind of goes, okay, we're just going to have one guy take care of this. Well, Rodgers themselves just going to go, okay, we don't have to handle this. We're just a corporate entity. Just we like going to Blue Jays games. We like doing the Blue Jays business, but the other businesses, we don't care. That's just how it is. That's just how it is with them. When Rodgers fully bought out Bell and owned most of the ownership, besides Larry Tannenbaum, which he's starting to slowly sell off his stakes. I wouldn't be surprised soon if Rodgers goes, we're gonna merge the Blue Jays into Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. If that happens, that will be the end. That will be the complete end of everything. But these sports leagues, I think, should have to step in at some point and say, okay, Rodgers. Well, NHL is not going to do it because Rodgers owns the Canadian rights pack, TV rights, for a very long time. And a lot of people aren't happy about that because fucking Sportsnet Plus, I don't pay for it, thank God. Sportsnet Plus is fucking ridiculous when it comes to the prices. Like so I have Amazon Prime. That's because I do buy stuff off Amazon sometimes, and I watch some stuff on Amazon Prime. On Amazon Prime, it's $39.99 a month for Sportsnet. Yeah, that's ridiculous. And I don't even like the Sportsnet hockey coverage. I don't like it. It's horrible. It is absolutely horrible. I love TSN because TSN is very biased. I love watching TSN, especially when it's like they're more Homer of a broadcast, like a little bit more of a Homer broadcast. Like I mean, they still have to be like bipartisan, but they're Homer. They're more of a Homer broadcast than Sportsnet. Sportsnet talks about more about the other team than they do fucking Toronto. But then you get to the intermissions, and the intermissions are, oh my fucking god. It's like the old men. I mean, TSN is kind of like that, but TSN at least tries to make it fun. Like during every first intermission, it's like, here's the quiz. Who do you think is the best candidate to be like that kind of? We all know what TSN coverage is. TSN coverage is amazing. We love it, but we obviously don't get enough of it. And when we were all watching the Olympics, and we saw Kevin Bieksa, we saw James Dudley, we saw pretty much TSN and Sportsnet guys all collaborate together, we just go, what the fuck? We all loved it. We all absolutely loved it. We absolutely loved it because it was better interaction between all the all the broadcasters in Canada. It was better interaction than just having them in like two separate entities. Right? James Dudley is a fantastic host, better than whoever does the Sportsnet one. It's either David Amber or Ron McCrane is. He does Saturday nights, but it's starting to get a little bit of this, like, almost like Don Cherry. Like, he needs to kind of back away out of a lot of that stuff. I mean, it was honestly great watching the intermissions during the Olympics. Honestly, I had fun watching Olympic games, especially with NHL competition back in the Olympics. It was honestly fun to watch. And then I have to come back to the fucking Reefs bullshit, and it's draining. It's absolutely draining. Like, I don't even watch Reefs games. I haven't watched as many Reefs games this year as I've done before. Like, I think it was last year I tried to watch every Reefs game throughout the year, except for the games at like 10:30, like on the West Coast. I'm not watching those games. Those games can die a timely death. And that's what kind of killed it for the Leafs. Because it seemed like to me that after, like before the Olympic break, they went on that West Coast trip through Western Canada and Seattle. They won their last three games for the Olympic break, and they said, okay, let's hold off. Let's hold off and see where we are after the break. That's why we're not going to do a thing. What happened? We don't need to talk about what happened after the break because we all know because they were shit. And they still are shit. It's obvious that they need to fire the coach. They need to fucking walk the front office door and tell everybody in the front office, get your asses out here. Not many people know this, but the Reefs have 5 assistant GMs. Why the hell do you need 5 assistant GMs for? Why do you need that? You don't need 5 assistant GMs. What, are you paying every single one just to do one specific job? Okay, assistant GM number 1, you do the signings. Assistant GM number 2, you do the trades. Assistant GM 3, you do the scouting. Number 4, you manage our AHL team. Assistant GM number 5, just look pretty. And Bertrand Ruben just goes like this and just sits on his hands and it's just like, wee, wee, wee. It's annoying to know that the Leafs have 5 assistant GMs and their GM has kind of run his job out the door. That's what's happening. And I think there needs to be change. There easily needs to be change. Prayer, personnel, coaching, management. It needs to all go. Honestly, I just want to do this just to get shit off my mind. And hope you guys enjoyed this. Like, comment, subscribe, all the stuff down there. My social media actually is on my profile of the channel. So my Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I couldn't care less. I don't even have Snapchat on my phone, but I do have a Snapchat account, but not on my phone. I got rid of it. But I do have Instagram and Facebook. Also, whoever is watching this, any friends or anything like that, whoever's my number, message me on there. Trying to get some guests on soon. The weather is starting to get a little bit better here. Except next week is apparently supposed to be in the negatives and it's supposed to be winter again. Great. But other than that, we're starting to get better weather. Looking to get some guests down here. Looking to get some podcasts going. So whoever has my number, go ahead, text me. We can get something set up. Message me on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever you can do it. Message me on there. We'll get some stuff set up, and we can run some podcasts together. Because honestly, I love doing these. I love doing these by myself, but having some guests, having some faces, some other faces except mine, would be nice. Would be nice to do that. So, anyways, hope you liked the podcast. We'll see you on episode 8. And this one will actually have a title instead of just saying episode 6, episode 7, whatever. This one will actually have a title. Anyways, we'll see you next time on the Kirk Hardiman Podcast, episode 8. I don't exactly have a time frame for the episode, but we will see you soon.